Greetings, YouTubers. A very, very merry and happy Christmas, and a very, very happy coming New Year. It's the 23rd of December 2019. It's hard to think it's 19 years ago since the millennium bug was going to bring the world down onto its knees, if you all remember that. Very good morning to you. It's Big Jim in his LTI, his London Taxi International, with 278,000 miles and counting. LTI, London Taxi International, TX2 model, silver. Not the gold, definitely not the bronze, the silver. Very, very good morning to everyone. I'm a happy man at the moment because it's Monday morning. I'm not at work. As you know, I work for school services on all their vehicles and all their staff, and they're all on holiday now, so there's no point in me being there. So I do the term time holidays as well, so it makes for Big Jim to be quite happy. So I've got 2.5 weeks now of not doing anything. I did promise I'd get one of these in. Let's talk a little bit at the moment about Poppy, lovely Poppy. Do you remember I told you on the last vlog that I had this noise every time I was going on the right hand lock, a wah 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 noise. Every time you turn, wah 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 wah. You know, that one's for you, Jude. It was driving me mad, so I've jacked her up and I've checked her. I've got no play whatsoever in the wheel bearings. The power steering fluid is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's going to need to go over on a ramp to my friends over at Chessington. We're going to have to go underneath it and jack her up, because on the TX2 model, the TX1 used to have the 2.7 Nissan engine in it, which was a brilliant engine, ideally suited for all cab work. Everybody loved it. It was easy to work on. You had plenty of space down the side. It was just it was the engine that was fitted to that cab. There shouldn't have been any change in engine. The TX2 model come out with a few refinements. There was not really a lot of shape difference between the 1 and 2. The main thing on the TX2 was it was more upmarket for disabled people, disabled ramp access, able to take a wheelchair in the back, a swing out arm where one of the seats here that's on the bulkhead actually swings right out into the roadway, that allows someone of a disability, so you can put them on there and then swing them into place. Great, you know, it works. But the thing that they changed that everybody said was the wrong thing to do, they stopped using the 2.7 Nissan engine in there, still used the Nissan gearbox, but they didn't use the Nissan engine. They went and put the Ford engine on here, and this is the same engine that they use for the full Transit that they fitted in here. And when I say fitted, if you ever get a chance to see one, actually look back over my early vlogs where I showed you a picture of a video of me walking around Poppy, and I had the bonnet open. Have a look at that and see how much, or how little space you've actually got between the bulkheads and where the engine sits. It's frightening. It is absolutely frightening. How they managed to get this engine in here, I don't know. I've got a feeling it was probably a can of axle grease and a shoe on. Everything down from one of my subscribers, like I own you, one of the subscribers, one of our friends, everyone that have joined the group, said that she was having trouble getting the battery out because it was interfering with the expansion tank, and it does. Everything in here, as simple as just taking a bloody battery out. You know, if like some people put the wrong battery in place, a larger one, it jams up on the bulkheads. Everything about this, trying to get your hands down by the side, after time you're better off separating the flipping engine from the chassis and lifting the whole thing out. to do any major job. It is a nightmare, these, to work on. They are an absolute nightmare, purely for the fact that the engines are too bloody big for what's under the bonnet. They are jammed in there. You cut your hands to pieces. So those were the changes. Anyway, I digress, as I often do in my ripe old age. So this whirring, I reckon, on looking at it, it's really hard because there's no play as such. I've got a feeling, wait for this, it's the steering rack. Now, I've not even looked into the cost of a rack. A steering rack for this. Obviously, if it needs to, I'm going to get one. I'm not going to put a part-worn second-hand one in here. There is no point, because that's probably done 500,000 miles. It's really weird. It just started. Now, I'm not even sure at the moment, because I've not gone into my service manual, whether or not you can actually grease these. And they're you know, you're okay to sort of maintain and grease. I don't even know that yet. Or are they a throwaway job? That's the frightening thing. Maybe a throwaway, and if it's a throwaway, then I'm going to have to throw something else in there, which will be a new steering rack. It's going to be a bugger to do. It's all got to be done from underneath, up on a ramp. It's certainly not a roadside job, so hence it's going across to my mates over at Chessington for them to have a look and a gander, and we can get under there together and actually see what it is. It don't appear to be getting any worse, but it ain't getting any better. I don't really feel it on the steering. It's just a weird sound. It's you probably can't even pick it up now, but it's something that I will get sorted, and that'll be in the new year. I'm not going to worry too much about it. She's going really well. She ploughed through the other day through some really heavy storms that we're having down here in the south coast, or most of the UK. As you know, there's flood warnings on all areas, especially down here. The River Mole burst its banks over at Crawley a few days ago, and spilt down the sidings of the M23 and turned the M23 into a river, which shut it off. So there's the Mole, the Arun as well, over at Pulborough, which is a floodplain area, has blown its banks as well. So, and I came back in at such a storm a while ago, a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, and it was pretty horrific, I must admit, because, you know, as you know, these have got the aerodynamics of a brick, and Poppy was feeling every bit of wind that was blowing across. But fortunately, because she's so heavy, near on a couple of ton, that nothing moves her. She's sort of happy, and but my God, did that rain drive down. So she's going to be going in there, gang, for what sounds like a steering job. If any of the people from the LVTA or any of you have had experience of steering racks on the TX2 with the Ford Transit engine in, if you want to just leave a comment down below, I will look into it, into cost. And it's a joke, isn't it? Right, the most expensive time of the year, and then you got a chance that your steering rack's going to go pop. But look, if it is that, there might be a bush or something like that, but I can't get to it. But we will, and when we get to it, it will be repaired. And when she gets repaired, you, my friends, will be the first to know. Traffic's bad out here today. I've probably only done 2 miles since I've been talking to you. I'm now crawling along at less than 10. Everybody's on the move. What it is, I tell you, I'm going to have a rant now. Let me have a rant. Let me have a rant. I need a rant. All the vehicles, front and behind me, have all got one person in, one person in, one person in, all of them, chocked up the road. And look, I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem, because I'm sat in here as well with one person in. And the reason is, there's a train that runs the route that I'm going now, goes off to Brighton, and it runs from Littlehampton, and it'll go all the way across, cutting the coast, staying right tight, hugging to the coast, all the way to Brighton. And we're stuck in on here. We're all sitting on the road where we could be on a train. And why is that? Because it's bloody cost prohibitive to jump on one. A cheap day return to Brighton is something like about 16 quid. You know, it's only sort of 23 miles up the road. Going to London for me on a cheap day return is about 28 quid now, for me to just do 50 miles to go to London. So people jump on their cars and abandon their cars everywhere. If you go to Europe, which I have spent a bit of time in Europe, the trains, the trams, which they've got loads of, which we're just starting to get here, are dirt cheap. They literally give them away. People don't drink drive out there. People don't chog up the roads out there, because these stations are built all around places. They put in the station, there's a station, there's a stopping train and a fast train. The stopping train stops at all the little stops, but it's pennies, you know, €1, 70p to go anywhere. When I went to Amsterdam a couple of years ago, same thing. Jumped on a double-decker train. All right, we can't have them in this country because they've looked at it. Our tunnels wouldn't be able to take it. But you've got these double-deck trains, and the fares are just, well, you wouldn't even bother to try and evade the fares because it's so bloody cheap. But over here, private investment, and people that invest want their returns, it's so bloody expensive to travel. And unreliable. Remember, we got Southern Rail here, Southern Network Rail. If they're not on strike because the guards are striking because, well, they're striking with the union to say that they need to have guards on all the trains. Well, I understand that. But a lot of the network now doesn't have guards on the trains. So a precedent has been set. So, and they are the most unreliable train service that I've ever known in my flipping life. And I remember, I'm just going to bore you just slightly a little bit more. I remember I took a job with the library services for a while, driving their big 7.5 ton library bus a few years ago. I won't even go into that. What a job that was. Only lasted 3 months and then I came back. Anyway, that was down in Worthing. I was sort of commuting in the car, such as today, jammed up in traffic, and I thought I'll get myself a rail ticket for the week. So the rail ticket to get me to work was 30 quid, more than I was spending on fuel, much more than I was spending on fuel. And even if you took maintenance into it as well, a lot cheaper. But I didn't have Poppy then, I had a little car. Well, the first day I got in there was lovely, got in and got out. The second day, there was a defective train. The third day, someone had thrown themselves under a train, probably waiting for so bloody long they got fed up and just, I don't know. But the week that I chose it, the longest it took me to get home once was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Because there was a train diverted and broken down or something like that. And of course, trains, you can't go round one another, so they all stacked up. And in the end, I paid the 30 quid and I thought, do you know what, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I feel so sorry for commuters that have to do it every single day and have to punt every single day to do that journey. No wonder when you see them sometimes coming back late at night, sort of, well, I say late at night, 6, 7 o'clock at night, they're asleep for the whole journey, completely knackered, because they probably started at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's not right. It's not right for anyone. And that's what, this is the reason why, and now we're all sitting on these roads now. Train is just to my right now, and I bet that's going up and down with no one on. And we're all sitting on here, fuel, pollution. Just look at it, look. I wish I could sort of flick it round and show you. It's just stop start all the way. It's a terrible way to be. I can only see it, gang, getting worse, because I'm not sure where you live. You're probably all over the county, the countries, and another country, but they're hell bent on building more and more housing developments now. Wherever this little road I'm on now, 15 years ago, used to be a lovely, quiet little country road. Now look, we've got a big Audi garage here. We've got factories. But you've got housing developments that are coming out, and these housing developments bring with them people that all want cars, because there's no train service near where they are. There's no bus service, or if it is, it's cost prohibitive. So they all get a car. Now in the old days, listen to me, in the old days, used to be one car, possibly a family, if you could afford a car. But now it's, how many cars now? How many cars now? 4? 3? 4? Look at these roads. Look at this road here. I'm up. Look, every bump, no wonder your steering rack. This is probably what's bugging my steering rack. These roads, they're just awful. So you've got 4 or 5, well, say 2 or 3 cars on the road, of all people, that are now, you know, so that all those need to feed onto the arteries. And they're doing nothing about the infrastructure to build better roads. You're expanding one way by moving people into the county, up and down the country. But what you're not doing, you're not improving the arteries for them to actually be able to flow. And it's going to get, akin it to a human body. You know, in the end, the arteries are going to get all chogged up. And if those arteries chog, then there's a heart attack. And if there's a heart attack on here, everything comes to a grinding halt and it dies. So that's my philosophy anyway. It's wrong. I'm all for progression and for people building, but you know, take into account what you've got for your infrastructure. That's the most important part of it. If you've not got the infrastructure, it's going to come to a grinding halt. Enjoy my little rant, everyone. It's alright. That's it. It's out of my system now. Look, I'm not going to go on and on and on forever and ever, because you've got lives to lead, and you don't want me dragging you down. So I'm going to cut this one short now. Poppy is going absolutely fine, apart from the possible steering rack issue. That will be addressed in the new year very early. She's filthy as hell. Dirty Poppy. Dirty girl she is. Look, if you ever own a black car, you will know black is the worst car to keep clean. Now, you wouldn't think that, would you? You would think black would hide the dirt. No, it don't. Best car for keeping clean, silver. Best one for keeping clean, a silver car. These are black. Do you know what? I'd be embarrassed to show you Poppy now. In fact, she's turned in a shade of grey. 50 shades of grey, Poppy. Dirty Poppy. Look, gang, I said I wouldn't hold it, and I am holding it. All I need to do now, I said I'd get this in before Christmas, and I have done. Please leave some comments below. All the people, all of you, and you know you are, that have all helped to build this vlog the way it's going. And do you know what? Every single week now, there's 2 or 3 extra names appear, because I get notification when someone subscribes. And that's really nice. And every sort of week, a couple, 2, 3, 2 extra people that are now part of what we do. And a lot of people have said, yeah, it's been interesting reading. One guy came on a couple of days ago and said, and has left a comment saying that he's thinking of dipping his toe in the water with one of these. And my response was, go over the vlogs from early up to now. Don't do them all at once, because you'll probably be ill, and I don't want that. But just take your time when you've got a bit of time. Go over these and just see what needs to be done. The best way to do it, to buy one of these, so you don't get yourself a bummer. And there are, as I said, some bummers out there. So yeah, I'd like to thank everybody that sort of joins and is helping this little vlog to go along. I certainly enjoy doing it. I've really enjoyed it. Excuse the flashes of light again. That's down to sun that's glaring in. It should clear in a minute. I enjoy doing them. You obviously enjoy listening to them. Why? I know not. But all I do know is that it's really nice having you on board. It really is. And as the sort of holiday season comes in and I'm not at work, then I can get more of these out. Obviously once I'm working I can't do as many. So from the big guy, cutting through the wilds and wilds of West Sussex, looking at the countryside now, beautiful, I'd just like to say to you, festive greetings to all of you. I use the word festive because possibly you don't celebrate Christmas, and I know that everybody doesn't celebrate. It could be a personal thing, it could be a religious thing, it could be your own thing. So I'm not going to use the C word. I'm going to say festive greetings to all of you, to you, yours and your family, from the big fella, from Big Jim. I do hope that the coming year brings you prosperity, happiness, and above all, an old London taxi that doesn't give you too much trouble. Like mine's rumbling now as I'm going around this corner. Oh yes, he's definitely not happy. I just want to say to all of you, thank you very much for making the vlog what it is. It will grow. Look into the London Vintage Taxi Association, LVTA, worth joining. Come up on the net, on the website. We have a little forums up there where we chat around. Do that, it's well worth it before you dip that proverbial toe in the water. And just do some homework. I'm going to disappear now. I will try and get one of these in before the new year, wishing you a new year. I can't promise because I'm quite busy over children, seeing the kids and the grandchildren, and just really being quite busy running around. So I'm going to say festive greetings to you all, and all you, yours and your family. Keep safe, and here's to 2020, and please subscribe, give it the thumbs up, and if you want a bit of input, please put your comments down below and I will get back to them as soon as I can, and I will respond. I do endeavour to respond to absolutely everyone. Okay, for that, it's the big fella, Big Jim, in his London Taxi International 2003, 278,000 miles and counting, with a rumbling steering rack, and still smiling. Be good, be lucky, and I'll catch up with you all again. Ciao, thanks everyone.